Hi, I'm Doc Marshall with Lesson.io, and this lesson we're going to look at where we're going to play our chords in any given song. Everybody understands by this time that there's the same chords all up and down the neck of the guitar. You can play a C chord in any number of positions all the way up and down, and a G chord and an F chord and whatever. But there must be some reason that players use one position more than another for different reasons. And that's what we're going to discuss now. Why should I use first position chords rather than chords in the middle of the neck or high up on the neck? Well, here's one way of doing it. This is what I do. I use my first position chords when I play folk music, because we want that nice ring. We want to hear all of those strings ringing nice. Now, if I was playing a folk song, that would sound very good. It's got that nice free openness to it. Every string is ringing. The blend of the strings is beautiful. It's a very nice sounding chord for the kind of songs I would be singing. However, if I was going to sing some rock and roll, for example, those are the same chords. This was a G and a C and a D chord, G. And so is this. This is a G, C, and D, and G. Same chords, all major chords, same key and the same chords within that key. But they sound a little bit different. Of course, it's the way I'm playing it. Here we want nice, light, melodic music. And in the other type of music, it's going to be... Now the right hand, of course, is different also. We have to understand that when you play as a chord, you play it with the type of feel that you want in the music. For rock and roll, you want a heavy feel. And in folk music, we want a very light feel. So that's for the right hand. We understand that already. But the positioning of the chords. Why should we play in the third position as opposed to the first position? For our rock and roll, we said we want a heavy sounding chord. We also want something that is going to pulsate. Okay, now listen to the way this pulsates. And as I've said in other lessons, what I'm doing here is I'm pressing the strings down against the neck hard, and that gives me that sound. But then I'm letting off the strings. I'm just letting the pressure off the strings, and it gets that kind of a sound. Still the same chord. This is a G chord. By themselves, they don't sound very much, but when I put them together, there's that nice pulsating sound, and that gives you a real strong beat so that you can dance to it and stuff. Okay? The same chord, the G chord, is here. Now if I did the same thing there, even though I'm using the pulsating technique of pushing the strings down or letting them off, you don't get the same sound. It just sounds loud and raucous and unpleasant. Okay? Here, I've got some control over it. So you can hear the chord, and when the singing comes in, the singing comes on top of the guitar, not obliterated by it like it would down here. Okay, so we want to control our chords, and that's one of the reasons that we play them in different positions. Now there's another type of music, standards or jazz chords, for example, they can get very complicated. But those chords also, we want a lot of control. So we're going to play those up on the neck somewhere so that I can get what I need. Right? This doesn't have that the rock and roll does. But by the way I play it with my right hand, I can get a different sound out of it. But I can't do that down here. It doesn't sound like any jazz positioning that I've ever heard. So we play high on the neck, or in the middle of the neck, because we want the type of music to go along with that type of playing. Or we play in the first position down here if we want that light melodic sound. Sounds so good in the folk music, okay? There's another thing though. When we play our jazz chords, for example, sometimes, or the rock and roll too, we want to be able to stay in one position. It's for economy of movement. Instead of going here, that's a lot of moving around. We went from here to here, okay? But I can also play the same chords here. Same four chords, G, E minor, C, and D. Or G, E minor, C, and D. So this is another reason why we're going to choose different kinds of chords. When we get up on the neck, chances are we're using bar chords. There's a bar chord right there. Second chord was also a bar chord, different configuration though. Okay, that's an E minor chord. And then we have the other position. This is an inside position right here. That's our C chord. And then bring it right up, we have a D chord. So we have bar chord, bar chord, bar chord, bar chord. When we play all in one position, for example, in the third position, same four chords, G, that's a bar chord, but now this is not a bar chord. And notice I'm only playing the four strings that I need. I'm not playing these guys down here, okay? So just those four strings, that's an E minor chord. Then I go to a bar chord again, which is here, that's our C. And then the fourth chord in this particular progression is a D chord, or D7. Now that's an inside chord, but it's not a bar chord, because I'm only hitting one string and one finger at a time, and it's the four inside strings. Okay, so we're mixing it up quite a bit here. But the knowledge of all these different kinds of chords and where we play them dictates the kind of chords we will choose to play. So for the G chord, G, E minor, C, and D. And we'd want to do that because we want the economy of movement. If we had some reason that we wanted to stay right here on the neck, that's how we would do it. Or if I wanted a different flavor to the song, I play the same song, same chords, but I can play it up here. And I might do that because I want the bass line running that way. I want my G here, and then I want the E minor chord here, but I want that particular bass note, okay? And then I want this particular bass note, and this particular bass note. And so I would choose those particular configurations of chords. So to wrap it all up, choose your genre first. If I'm playing folk music, I probably want first position chords. Okay? G, E minor, C, and D. And the first position chords are also all in one position, so that's pretty good too, if we want to stay in one spot. If I want to get real chunky and play some rock and roll, something like that. We could also play that in one position. Or if I wanted to play something for jazz, then I might play a little differently. So what have we learned? We've learned that there's chords all over the guitar, and some of them have the same names, like a G or a C or an A or a B. And we've learned that the genre that we're playing in, folk, rock and roll, jazz, whatever, will dictate where we're going to look for those chords on the guitar neck. We do it for convenience too. If we want to stay in one spot, we can play it all in one position if we want to. Okay? So chew on those facts and figures for a while, and we'll see you next lesson. Bye for now.